What's up, Foosball fans? So, Ryan Moore dropped an update on World Foosball Tour a couple days ago, and I wanted to talk about it a bit. Basically, I mean, it's all really positive stuff. It's pretty cool. So what were the things he talked about? One was sponsors. So he's basically talking to a bunch of it sounds like he's talking to a bunch of companies and trying to get the nails down some like really big sponsors for foosball. That's amazing, dude. Like if that actually comes through, that's fantastic. I honestly haven't seen too many, it hasn't felt like promoters have really been working on that too much up until this point. There's been talk about, I wish we had this, wish we had that. I've seen nobody do anything. So if Ryan's going to step up and start doing that, and it sounds like he's already had some big people talk to him, so which is really cool. He said he's like kind of pushing him off until 2026, which, hey man, he's the one running it. He knows what's up. And I mean, it does kind of make sense that he would be focusing just on, it's his first year, right? Kicking the tour off, making sure it goes really well. Probably have something good to show to sponsors as well versus just talk. So he's kind of waiting until next year to really get something going with those. But that's pretty neat. And the other thing that was really cool about it is he said that he's kind of talking about like individual players getting sponsored, right? And he mentioned like, he basically was kind of saying like, even if there aren't any big sponsors that step up and are sponsoring like the top players, that World Foosball Tour would actually sponsor some top players. So that's super neat. I mean, big players in this game have, it'd be really cool if they could make a living just playing foosball. I mean, I've never seen it in my lifetime. Before I started playing like in the 70s, I think you could legitimately make like a reasonable income if you were a top player just because the payouts were so big. Now the payouts totally suck. So you can't. But if they have sponsors, then the top players could. So that's really neat. I'm not like a top player, but I do think it's cool that that the potential is there for the best players in the game to to get sponsorships, potentially even make a living playing the game. That's really neat. So good job, Ryan. I think that's awesome. The next thing he mentioned is the point system. So he said they're going to do some sort of revamp of the point system. I don't know what that means. He didn't really give any clarity on it. He said he's working with Brandon Moreland on it. Sounds good to me. I like Brandon. He's a good guy. Probably has some good ideas. He's been around it as long as anybody else. So we'll see what they come up with there. The one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way just a bit is he said that like for like like for like lower masters and like lower pros, they would kind of have the option to drop down to like pro and expert respectively. I don't think dropping people in rank is necessarily bad. And you do get this kind of effect where, you get bumped up, you're not really ready to get bumped up, and then you kind of just stop playing because like you weren't necessarily doing that great at your level already. But let's just say you're playing a bunch of tournaments, so your rank just kind of creeps up, and then click, it tips over to the next rank. You're not actually playing great at that level yet, and you're just like, F it, I'm out. If those players drop down, I think that's actually good. The only beef I have with it is I would say don't make it optional. If you think people should drop down, drop them down. If you think people should move up, move them up. But I don't like this like, oh, you want to get dropped down, we're gonna drop you down. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that personally, but that's just me. But hey, they're coming up with a new ranking system of some type, or maybe it'll be the same ranking system we have today, and they're just gonna kind of shift some people around. I think that's good. You definitely get people who have like, to me, the classic thing is people that have inflated doubles points. Like, let's say you're a person who's like playing, let's say you're playing goalie. You're playing goalie and you just have a lot of friends in the foosball community and you have good partners. then you get this differential, like your singles points are way lower, your doubles points are way higher, and you probably don't even deserve your doubles points, to be honest, because you're a backpack and you're just getting carried by these good forwards. You know what I mean? A bunch of people I could think of that fall in this category. I'm not going to name them, but I mean, they're out there for sure. Just like pro backpack, playing goalie, always partnering up with these good players. And like, yeah, if you partner up with like really solid forwards carry the game. You know what I mean? So you play with the top forward. You don't even necessarily have to play that good. You're going to win some titles. You're going to get some top finishes. And you're going to get points that, in my opinion, you really don't deserve in the first place. So if they drop those guys down, I think that's a good idea. I just wouldn't make it optional. Next thing was like dress code. I mean, hey man, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's kind of lame. I mean, to me, it's like the classic is like Tony Spreedeman, dude. It's like Tony. You know, I don't know what he's looking like nowadays. Back in day, he was kind of like just this raw fucking metal dude, long hair, just like metal t-shirt, and like that's cool. Like to me, that was like a cool vibe for this, and like gave that player personality. I can't imagine Tony back in the day wearing like some collared shirt, being all buttoned up. Now that being said, if they think that this is gonna like help with sponsorships, I mean, that's fine, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, and I agree, like, getting sponsorships would be really cool, and, like, is something that could legitimately grow the game of foosball. Not using the term sport intentionally here. So, you know, if they think that's what we have to do, then that's fine. It's his show, he can do whatever he wants. I'm just not a huge fan of it. The one thing that is kind of cool, though, is he said he's only going to enforce the dress code from, like, only in open singles, open doubles, and only from, like, 9th, 12th on. So, hey, that's fine. You know, he kind of just wants, like, the very biggest matches, you have to be in this dress code. Okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? No big deal. I don't really like it, but also it's fine. And if it is true that that's going to help get sponsorships, then it is a good thing overall. So that's fine. I think that's pretty much all I took out of the video. But hey man, it's pretty cool. I'm definitely thinking more and more about attending some of these WFT tournaments. I mean, at least like one of them this year. So TKO, I don't know if I'm going to make it to that. It's pretty soon. I definitely would like to go test my single skills against some of these guys pretty soon for sure. I've been playing a ton, and at some point you got to get out there and play like the big boys. Can't just play the little fish in your pond up here in Michigan. You know what I mean? So I would like to do that. Probably won't be TKO, but you know, hey, I think what Ryan's doing is fantastic. I think it's great that he really cares about the growth of foosball. I think it's awesome he's talking about getting some sponsorships. And, you know, I think it's really neat that he's not talking about just, like, foosball tournaments getting sponsored. He's talking about, like, actual top players, you know, like a Tony Spreedeman, Brandon Munoz, whoever it might be, like those guys getting actual sponsorships. And he mentioned companies like Monster, Red Bull. Like, how cool would that be, man? I mean, Red Bull sponsors all kinds of fucking weird sports. It seems to me like it falls right in line with the type of stuff Red Bull would promote. So, man, I would love to see Red Bull getting into it. That would be so cool. But, hey, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. The one thing I will say, though, is no matter what, this is all super duper positive, right? I mean, Ryan's really putting the effort in. He's got a good vision for it. Sounds like he's super into it. And I love it, man. I think it's badass. I think it's great what Ryan's doing right now. So, good job, Ryan. You're killing it. You know, I'll try to get out to one of these WFTs this year. And, yeah, good job, man. So, what do you guys think? Leave me a comment. What do you think about the stuff Ryan's doing? What's good? What's bad? And I'll see you guys in the next video.